You decided that you want to buy a house, but you don't know where your down payment is going to come from? Well, in this video, I want to talk about how you can use some of your equity that you've leveraged as down payment. This can be in the form of a 401k, a Roth IRA, a HELOC, or a cash out refinance from your current property. So make sure you stick around because I'm going to talk about how you can pull out money to be able to use it as down payment for your next home. Hey everybody, it's Gerald Jordan, your favorite DMV realtor, and today we're going to be talking about how you can use some of the equity that you already have as leverage to purchase your next property. We're going to be talking about HELOCs, cash out refinances, using your 401k or your Roth IRA to be able to use as down payment for your next property. And if you're new here, I specialize in helping buyers here in the DC metropolitan area. I've sold over $100 million in real estate. I'm top 10 in the nation in sales. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's first talk about what equity is. Now, simply put, equity is defined as the value of your house minus any debt you have on the house. So for example, if I have a house that's worth $500,000, but I only owe an outstanding balance of $300,000, I have $200,000 in equity that I can use. Now let's talk about a cash out refinance. So a cash out refinance occurs when you refinance on your property to be able to pull a certain amount of equity out to be able to use. When you do a cash out refinance, you have to have a certain amount of equity for your lender to be able to agree on it. Now, a lot of people want to avoid cash out refinances because sometimes their house goes from a lower rate to a higher rate. So to bridge the gap between getting out equity in your property and still avoiding refinancing, what a lot of people do is actually do what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So your HELOC is like a line of credit that's secured by the equity in your property. Now, HELOCs are offered at a variable rate, meaning that you do have to pay interest, and the interest fluctuates based on the market. Now, let's say again that your house is valued at $500,000, but you only owe $300,000. A lender is going to allow you to borrow whatever amount you want from that difference. Now, the beauty of a HELOC, home equity line of credit, is that you do not pay interest on the money that you borrow unless you use it. And you don't have to use it. Many people use HELOCs and just use it in the case of emergencies. And again, it's like a nice big credit card that you have in your back pocket that you can use toward small things like maybe a renovation, maybe you need a small loan or borrow against it. But again, this is like a credit card, a big credit card that you're using on your equity on your property. In my professional opinion, it's really good for more short-term options because of the variable interest rate. The interest rate can get pretty high. So you want to make sure that you're using this money, if you do, towards something that's going to pan out in the long run. For example, some of my clients have used a HELOC to be able to buy another home and investment property in cash. Therefore, they didn't have to wait for things like financing, going through that entire process because they had cash in hand to be able to purchase their property from the equity of their existing property. Qualifying for a cash out refinance or HELOC is very similar to qualifying for a house. A lender is going to look at your income, they're going to look at your debt, they're going to look at your credit to establish how much they'll allow you to pull out from your property, or if they even can allow you to pull out from your property. Now, outside of a cash out refinance and a HELOC, you can also use some retirement accounts as down payment towards your purchase. A 401k is a very powerful tool because you can borrow up to $50,000 to use as down payment towards your property. And you just have to pay yourself back with interest, and it all adds to your account. Now, if you're borrowing against your 401k, you do have 5 years to pay the money that you borrowed back, unless you're purchasing your primary residence, where terms get to 15 or 20 years. Now, this is where payments become more manageable because you're stretching it out over a longer period of time. And over that time, your house should have appreciated a lot more, and you should be able to use your equity as leverage to pay this down. Now, this is only a good idea if you're going to use it towards something that's going to compound in interest as it would if it were in your account. Now, if you take out $50,000, of course, it's not in your 401k anymore and not gaining compound interest. So you have to put it towards something where it'll match that interest or even do a better return. A lot of people borrow against their 401k to do things like buy their first property, which they can use the equity from their property as leverage, or they'll buy an investment property where they're not only getting cash flow, but they also gain equity through paying down the mortgage. Now let's talk about your Roth IRA, which in my opinion is one of the best financial vehicles. The reason a Roth IRA is a very powerful tool is because you can put in after-tax money, it grows tax-free, and in retirement, you can pull it out of your account tax-free. Now, one thing a lot of people don't know about your tax IRA is that you have a first-time homebuyer exemption. Now, this exemption allows you to pull out $10,000 of the contributions or growth that you put into your Roth IRA without penalty before the age of 59 and a half if you're using it towards your primary residence. Now, with this money, you can use toward down payment, closing costs, any costs that are associated with you purchasing your first home. Usually, if you pull out money before the age of 59 and a half, you're hit with a 10% penalty, but not if you use it toward your first home. So the Roth IRA is a very powerful tool when it comes to purchasing your first home. So if you're looking to pull money from your different assets, whether it be a cash out refinance, a HELOC, a 401k, or a Roth IRA, make sure that you consult with the tax specialist first, and then make sure you consult with your brokerage, whether you're pulling out from your retirement account, or a lender if you're looking to do a cash out refinance or a HELOC. But all these avenues are very powerful tools and things that you can use as leverage to be able to buy your next home or an investment property. Now, if you learned something new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. This is your favorite DMV realtor, Gerald Jordan here, and I'm signing out.